when people make resolutions at the beginning of the year as a guide usually to what they intend to achieve, the exuberance with which these resolutions are made most often fail within the months. Today marks the beginning of a new year, and we seek to find out what to do to sustain our resolutions. I've been joined in the studio by life coach and counselor Amos Kelvin Annan. Happy New Year to you.
Many blessed returns. Finally, I got you to interview me. It's an honor to be here.
Oh, it's an honor to have you in our studio. So
starting my year right.
Yes, indeed. So, I mean, you heard the people in the report that Latif brought to us. Everybody always has new ideas, something new they want to do. I don't know where the zeal for these goals come. Is it because it's a new year? Let's start off with what the definition of a resolution is.
Well, a resolution would be a decision an individual takes born out of an experience or an expectation they have for their life. So it is a decision made, which may be the product of something you may have experienced, which you want to avoid, or you want to perpetuate, for which reason you arrive at that. Or it is an expectation you set for yourself. Oh, next year I want to be a good man. That's a beautiful resolution. Next year I want to trim down with me.
That is actually my resolution for this year.
It is yours. Yes. Okay, so we are in the same boat then.
I need to shed a few pounds, and I keep telling myself I need to exercise.
I think it's a healthy choice to make, and it's also a lifestyle resolution.
Exactly.
So an individual makes such a resolution for themselves, and oftentimes it's at the end of the year because you are terminating one year and about to usher in another one. So you want to start on a fresh page. And that's helpful. But the question is, can you sustain it at the end of the year?
Okay, we'll come to sustainability of our goals, but how do I make smart resolutions? Is it just getting up and deciding that, okay, this is an aspect of my life I need to address? Must there be a problem for you to address? Or is it just a matter of, it's a new year, you need a new challenge, and so something new must happen in your life?
Well, for some it is that way. They are bored with the lifestyle they had the year before and want to challenge themselves to higher aspirations, and therefore they say, well, I'm going to get this done. This building is being lingering for too long. It's being on the blueprint for too long, and I want to execute that project. So what stopped me from executing last year was that I didn't save enough. So I'm going to now cut out certain luxuries or certain wants which I have fed, so I can focus on this project. So others go that route. Others too is just flimsy and flippant. They are just on the spur of the moment. Hey, next year I'm doing this. Next year I'm doing that. And then you realize they don't
What's the
have
rationale for that? Is it because
everybody
everybody else
is motivated? It's some incentivization from others. They see you, they get inspired. Oh, Araba says this is her project. Oh, me too. That will be my project. But Araba may have sat down to really do a cost-benefit analysis of what she's about to do. You may not have had the benefit of same. So when Araba starts off the year, she's starting off in a firm foundation, whereas yours is some kind of a try and error.
Not well thought through.
Not well thought through. So you have situations such as that. But you'll be amazed to see that not all that you think through carefully would you be able to execute. Because that would be dependent on many happenings in the course of time.
I see. For example, I mean, in my case, my New Year resolution was to, exercise more. And initially I started on a good note. I was exercising regularly, but I wasn't able to sustain it because, my work schedule changed and, but there are those who say that in order to be committed to your goal, you need to be diligent. Is that the case?
Yes, diligence is required in every endeavor that you want results, because if it is that you're seeking to have results, staying focused, keeping your eye on the ball, and knowing clearly that I have some benefits that are going to accrue as a result of this decision that I'm taking. So let's take your case, for instance. Could it be that your schedules became overwhelming and therefore you felt discouraged, for which reason the energy, the extra strength to do this, garner it and to do it was absent? That may be possible.
That may be possible.
It could also be that you may have bitten more than you could chew. And therefore now you need to downsize those expectations and standards. Assuming the person was saying you're doing it, say, every day in a week or every other day in a week. And then you couldn't do every other day. So all of a sudden the incentive to cut. Oh, sorry.
Well, I mean, the plan was to do it every other day because I didn't want to, push myself to the extreme.
Ambitious.
Exactly. I wanted to be realistic. So I wanted to start every other day so that in the event that I'm not able to do it every other day, at least I'll do it, I just wanted to be realistic, but it turned out I wasn't able to sustain it.
Well, I mean, the sustainability, sometimes if you're in a company of others, accountable friends, for instance, they help you. So myself and 2 other friends, we were on a project to trim down our 0-pack. Okay. This is something called 6-pack. Ours is 0-pack.
It's just one.
It's just one. So we want to do away with that. So we are on regular lemon and warm water.
And how's that working?
Oh, it's working. The few times that people who had not seen me in a while saw me said, something is changing about it. I'm on a project. So there's also some excitement about it because we are keeping each other accountable. And when we have the opportunity to talk, we raise the issues. So sometimes it's the fact of you not having somebody to keep you on track. Other times, some people are able by their personality to keep themselves on track, even where there's none to do so. For others, they may need some extra push from friends who form this social network. It's like Alcoholic Anonymous, if you look at them. Once Alcoholic Anonymous came, a lot of people who were struggling to move away from alcoholism or getting overly involved in alcohol intake managed to break off a habit, as difficult as that. And so you may want to consider getting a friend who also wants to go on that trajectory with you, who may check on you. Maybe every Tuesday call me to see if Araba did what she always wanted to do. That's fine. The other thing also is this, that you also know the benefits that will come as a result of you taking such a decision. And no decision of this nature comes easy. So sometimes we need to whip ourselves back in line and don't say, well, because I missed the first one, I don't need to do the second one. This is not like from primary 1 to primary 2. There are others who leapfrog from primary 1 to primary 3. Can't we take some inspiration from that? And then move from 1 to 3. And then from 3 we can continue gradually. And then I'm a gradualist in everything I do. I believe that you don't have to give up simply because the first 2 steps faltered. Even when you have faltered, you can still bounce back and start the project again. It is said that every new level introduces a new devil. And
every new level introduces a new devil. That's quite interesting. But tell us, Councillor, what bottlenecks can hinder achievements of our goals and resolutions?
When it is that you set goals and objectives that are too much to handle within a given space of time. Sometimes it is the case that we are not too clear our timelines. So once you smudge them together, it's difficult now to disaggregate same and take them one after the other. That's one. 2, sometimes it's also the case that I've tried this before, it didn't work. So what's the incentive to go that route again? So I won't go at all. Other times it's also the case that I'm not too certain if that involves other parties.
What is that?
And those, for instance, if you set goals that involve other persons delivering on a certain promise, for you to be able to attain those goals, then it makes it difficult because you are not too certain if they have the same commitment level as yours. Here you are giving your 110% and they are giving 50%. So your timelines to meet your news editor, publish your online stories, do this, are not going to be forthcoming, even though you have promised yourself that this time I'm going to be timeous in the delivery of same. Because it involves a second person, you need to now get them to be sufficiently committed to the process. And that's not going to be easy because you know people, we have strengths and we have weaknesses. What if it dovetails more into their weakness than into their strength?
Right.
Other times also is the case that we ourselves have not done a thorough work on ourselves to know why we did not succeed the first time. And we are afraid to face ourselves in the mirror.
Is it perhaps because we know the answer?
We know the answer. I mean, it's glaring in the face, it's staring you. And so it will be necessary for me to ask myself, why did I not achieve last term's goals, last term's objectives? And if I am able to identify those, I look at those that are within immediate reach, those in the medium to long term, and then those in the long term.
Right.
Sometimes it's also the case that people have not been able to clearly create a delineation between what is immediate, what is medium term, and what's long term.
Well, someone would say, I mean, that is a lot to consider. If I just want to lose weight, I have to sit down and think through it carefully. Just because I want to lose a little weight, I have to do cost analysis, cost benefit analysis. I mean, why do I have to go through all this, you know, for lack of a better word, wahala, you know, just to lose, you know, some pounds?
Well, you see, the point of losing weight is not just losing weight. Is it as a result of lifestyle? Is it as a result of work? Is it as a result of diet? Is it genetic? So when I know that in my family there's a history of people putting on weight at a certain stage in life, then I am mindful of it. So you don't beat yourself overly, you don't stress yourself too much because it's genetic. There's a certain history to what is happening to you.
Right.
Now, so there's a level to which there's reasonableness with respect to how you're looking right now.
Right.
But beyond a certain threshold, you take responsibility for self. That's why there's a need to do assessment.
Because that's what a lot of people fail to do.
Yes.
Okay. So, Kasa, finally, just tell our viewers what they must do if they go off their resolutions in order to get back on track.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. I think it's very helpful we are looking at when they have failed because many of us set the goals and we falter.
Right.
And we conclude that because we have faltered is a failure.
Exactly.
But once you have faltered, it's a time to also really look at your steps, sit up, encourage yourself, rise up and run again. That's number one. Number two, you should ask yourself whether you are very clear on the objectives that you set for yourself. How clear were you and how unclear were you? Because if it is that you are too unclear about what it is you want to attain at the end of the year, clearly you'll be accelerating and going nowhere. That's important. Thirdly, how much commitment and energy do I have to stay on this matter? Because sometimes you don't have the intrinsic motivation, which is inside you, to want to carry through to the end. But you know that it's only when you have run the race to the finish line that you receive the accolade as the first, second, or third in the categories of those who have won. So there's a need for you to ask yourself, how much can I garner to be able to reach there? Right. And lastly, who do you need, or what resources do you need to be able to achieve? And are they within reach? Because sometimes, like I said, you may need other parties to stand with you in order to achieve your own personal goals.
Yeah.
And where it is those are part of it as a factor, then you need to bring them on board in your consideration.
Okay.
But let's not lose hope and let's not be faint-hearted, because uneasy lies the head that wears the crown.
All right, let's not lose hope. Let's not be faint-hearted, and let's be committed to our, resolutions and our goals, and we'll get there. Just bear in mind the end result, and you will get there. Thank you so much.
It's an honor.
It's an honor to see you here in my studio today. So that is Kelvin Amos Annan, and he is a life coach and a counselor joining us to discuss this matter. But let's go to Facebook. We've been asking you why we fail in achieving our New Year resolutions, and we have some comments here. Benjamin Ajimana says it's because there are certain bad habits which have become part of our lives, and they're causing limitations, and until we become disciplined enough to let go of those habits, resolutions can never be achieved. And Kwame Ellie Walker says, because we fail to have a new life after the resolutions, I think what we need is new life resolution, not a new year resolution. That's interesting. We've got to be in our comfort zone, then we have to aim and hit our goals. Kwesi Boateng Ayepa writes, we are only interested in setting goals, but we fail to work towards the achievement of the said goal. Well said. He says, we mostly forget about the goal after 3 months of the set goals. And Kwame Sapong Nana says, because we do not carry everything to God in prayer before we make resolutions. That's a good one. You're watching Joy News Prime. I'm Arba Kumsin. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back.